What if I told you the biggest threat to your money isn't inflation, it isn't a recession, it isn't even a stock market crash? The real danger wakes up every morning, looks back at you in the mirror, and convinces you to make one emotional decision after another. Every year, millions of people work harder, earn more, and still end up poorer than they expected. Not because they lack intelligence, but because they mistake excitement for opportunity. Tonight, we're not talking about secret stock tips. We're talking about something far more valuable. The mindset that quietly builds wealth while everyone else is chasing quick success. Stay until the end, because the final lesson could completely change the way you think about money for the rest of your life. Chapter 1. The voice that makes you poor. Have you ever noticed? The worst financial decisions rarely happen when you're calm. They happen when you're excited or terrified. Imagine a young architect named Ethan. For years, he lived a simple life. He saved carefully. He ignored luxury. Then one afternoon, his phone exploded with messages. A new investment was making everyone rich. Friends bragged about doubling their money in weeks. Social media overflowed with screenshots. Everywhere he looked, people seemed to be winning. Only Ethan felt left behind. That evening, he stared at his savings account. Years of discipline suddenly felt meaningless. What if everyone becomes wealthy except me? That single thought became louder than logic. The next morning, he invested almost everything. For a few days, he felt brilliant. His account climbed. His confidence grew. He imagined early retirement. Then reality arrived. Prices collapsed. Panic spread faster than hope. The same people celebrating days earlier disappeared. Some blamed the economy. Some blamed experts. Others simply stopped talking. Ethan lost far more than money. He lost trust in himself. Months later, while cleaning his desk, he discovered an old notebook. Inside were his original financial goals. None of them mentioned getting rich overnight. Every goal spoke about freedom, peace, security, enough time to spend with family. He realized something painful. He hadn't followed his dreams. He had followed the crowd's emotions. That day, he learned something priceless. Markets change. Opinions change. Headlines change. But emotional decisions always carry the highest price. Real wealth begins the moment you stop asking, "What is everyone else doing?" and start asking, "What actually makes sense?" Chapter 2. The Patience. Nobody applauds. What if the world's greatest advantage looked completely boring? Across town lived an elderly bookstore owner named Daniel. His shop never attracted crowds. Business grew slowly. Every evening he placed a small amount of profit into investments. Nothing dramatic. Nothing exciting. Years passed. Neighbors laughed. "You'll never become rich like that." Daniel simply smiled. He understood something most people ignored. Tiny decisions repeated consistently become impossible to compete with. One winter, a financial crisis shook the city. Businesses closed, investors panicked, people rushed to sell everything. Daniel did something unexpected. He didn't celebrate. He didn't panic. He quietly reviewed what still held real value. Some businesses remained strong. Some families still needed groceries. Some companies still solved important problems. The headlines screamed fear. Reality whispered opportunity. Patiently, he continued investing, not because prices were low, but because value remained high. Years later, the economy recovered. Those who had sold from fear spent years trying to recover. Daniel never needed to recover. He had never abandoned his plan. People called him lucky, but luck had nothing to do with it. His greatest strength wasn't predicting the future. It was refusing to let emotions rewrite his strategy. Success rarely belongs to the fastest person. More often, it belongs to the calmest one. Because patience doesn't look impressive today. It becomes impressive only after many years have passed. Chapter 3. The investment that can never be stolen. Imagine losing every dollar you own tomorrow. Would you still know how to rebuild your future? A young woman named Maya asked herself this question after a difficult financial setback. Her investments failed. Unexpected expenses arrived. Her savings nearly disappeared. For weeks, she believed everything was over. Then an old mentor asked one simple question. "What did you actually lose?" "My money," she replied. The mentor smiled. "No, you lost numbers. Have you lost your discipline? Your knowledge? Your ability to think clearly? Your patience? Your character?" She sat in silence, because the answer was no. From that day, she stopped chasing shortcuts. Instead, she invested in learning. She studied businesses. She improved her skills. She built multiple sources of income. She saved consistently. She questioned emotional decisions. Years later, her financial life became stronger than ever, not because she found a magic investment, but because she became a wiser investor. Money follows habits. Habits follow beliefs. And beliefs shape every financial decision you'll ever make. Many people search for the perfect opportunity. Very few become the kind of person who recognizes one. That difference changes everything. The greatest investors don't control the economy. They don't predict every market movement. They don't win every time. They simply refuse to let fear, greed, or impatience make decisions for them. Real wealth isn't built in one spectacular moment. It's built through hundreds of quiet choices, made long before anyone notices the results. So the next time the world tells you to chase excitement, pause. Ask yourself one question. Am I following value, or am I following the crowd? Because the answer to that single question may determine your financial future. If this story changed the way you think about money, share it with someone who wants lasting wealth, not just quick profits. And if you enjoy powerful stories about mindset, success, and timeless wisdom, subscribe to Mindset HubTube and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next journey. Remember, the smartest investment you will ever make is becoming the kind of person who never lets emotions control their future.